don't scare me, but you should fear me. The sun is setting, don't trust your hearing. You made a monster, a mere imposter. Go ahead and wander, but don't trust the water.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am back with another true crime video, and today we are going to be doing the story of Brian Tetanda Ndlovu. Now, if you're new to this channel, I try and do these videos often, so please do check out the playlist. I've done a couple already and I will be doing more in the near future. Before I dive into today's video, I have a few disclaimers. The story/case that I'll be doing today is really new. It happened less than a month ago on the 31st of July 2023. It is therefore very important for me to stress that these are allegations as they have not been tested yet in a court of law. So with that said, and without wasting any more time, let's dive into today's video. Today's video takes us to Johannesburg, South Africa. Brian Tetanda Ndlovu was born on the 19th of April in 2008 to mother Mildred Ndlovu and father Charles Ndlovu. He lived in central Johannesburg with his mother and father and younger siblings. He's described by his mother as a cheerful, humble, and intelligent young boy who loved life. In 2023, Brian was doing grade 9 at Queen's High School, where he was doing really well in his academics and participated in numerous sporting codes. But he especially loved rugby. He wanted to be the next Siya Kolisi when he grew up. On the 31st of July 2023, Brian woke up and got ready for school as per usual. Brian used transport to go to school that was driven by one of his teachers. And at 6:45 in the morning, his teacher was outside. Brian said goodbye to his family and off he went to school. It was a normal Monday morning. Brian arrived at school, he attended assembly, and the school day commenced. Unfortunately, before lunch break, Brian got into a scuffle with one of the learners. They were reported and they were called into the principal's office. And when they arrived there, the principal decided that, you know what, I'm going to call your parents and you guys are going to have to come back with your parents tomorrow, because scuffling and fighting is not allowed at school. The parents were called and the two boys then went back to class and the day continued. Lunch break came and the kids went outside. Now during lunch, Brian decided to go to one of the toilets to relieve himself. Now he would later state that when he got to the toilets, this is when a group of matriculants, 4 of them to be exact, pushed him against the wall and forced him to drink some sort of a substance. It is important to note that the school has 96 CCTV cameras. As much as there are 96 cameras are not allowed in toilets. Cameras were able to pick up Brian going into the toilets, but unfortunately, anything that happened inside could not be picked up. So nonetheless, Brian left the toilets. It was after break now. He went back to class and continued with the rest of his lessons as per usual. After school, as he normally does, he went back home with the teacher that had picked him up in the morning. Brian got back home around 3:30 in the afternoon and was greeted by his mother. Brian's mother said Brian looked sluggish and was dragging his feet, and she asked him, Brian, what's wrong? And he basically said, no, Mom, it was just a really long day. And he decided to go and take a nap, but not before putting 2 jackets on, although it was a fairly hot day. Brian slept and woke up a little bit later, and he decided to go next door to one of his friends, Simba. When he got to Simba's house, he told Simba that it was such a hectic day at school today. He told him that the boys had made him drink some sort of a substance in the toilets and he was really not feeling well. Simba sympathized with him, they spoke for a bit, and then he went back home.
When Brian came back from Simba, I could tell he wasn't fine. He was shaking. Through shaking, I was surprised to say, are you feeling cold? At the same time, you're wearing 2 jackets. How's that possible? He was like, no, Mom, I'm not cold. Mama ngiyasha. That's when he started removing his jackets. He sat down on the floor here on the carpet. He removed his rugby socks that he was wearing. That's when I started noticing, he's not right at all.
This is when Brian could not hold it in anymore, and he confessed to his mom what happened at school. He then went on to say that it was not the first time that this was happening to him and that he had been bullied since January.
He said, "Bangiphuzisa poison esikolweni, mama, get me some milk." That's when I rushed off to the kitchen, brought him some milk. He tried to sip that milk, but he couldn't take it in.
He then told his mum that she can ask any of his friends, they were going to attest to this and collaborate his story. While all of this was going on, Brian's father arrived back from work. He was slightly upset because he had received a phone call earlier on from the school saying Brian was involved in a scuffle. And this is when Brian explained that the reason he was in a scuffle was because he was experiencing bullying and he was just defending himself. He then went on to state that the boys that were bullying him were from rich families, and normally the school did nothing when it came to boys who came from rich families because they were some sort of funders of the school. Unfortunately, while all of this is happening, Brian's condition kept deteriorating. He was getting more and more sick as time went by. They then decided that they needed to take him to a doctor as soon as possible. They all got into the car and they drove to Hillbrow Clinic. This was the closest medical facility to them. When they got there, Brian was attended to quickly. Because no one knew exactly what was given to him, blood samples were taken and the process to try and stabilize him ensued. Unfortunately, his condition kept deteriorating. The medical personnel really tried their best to resuscitate him. Unfortunately, around 8 p.m. on Monday, the 31st of July, 2023, Brian was pronounced dead. To say Brian's family was broken is an understatement. The following day, the family went to the school to report what had happened to Brian in their premises. But to their dismay, when they arrived to the school, they received such an underwhelming response. Now, although the principal passed his condolences, but he made sure to tell the parents that he did not believe that this happened at the school. He told them that they should maybe consider that Brian took his own life when he was at home, because when he left the school, he was fine. He told them that Brian had never ever reported any sort of bullying to them, and that Brian attended all his classes after lunch, and he looked fine. Now, it's important for me to put a side note here to state that medical personnel and research has shown that red poison doesn't always kick in at the same time for everyone. It is not uncommon for it to start working after a long time. So I think it's very unfair for the principal to state that just because he was at school and he was happy after lunch and he attended all his classes, that then this did not happen at school. Nonetheless, news of the incident came out and other parents of kids in the school actually came out to say their kids had also experienced bullying in the school, to the extent of which one parent came out with an email that she had sent to the school in April, 2 months before this particular incident, saying that they have to look into the bullying situation. I'm going to read that email in part so that we just get a gist of what she said. The email was sent on the 18th of April 2023, and the subject is bullying in the school. And it says, "Dear," and the person is hidden. And it says, "Please, if you could please address the situation with regards to bullying that is taking place inside the school premises and outside. The toilet area seems to be the biggest target area. The learners are bullied by high-grade learners to exchange their items like cell phones and other valuable items, e.g. watches, to bullies in exchange of cash, especially in the toilet areas. Please, can this problem be discussed with all the learners in the school via an open assembly? The lower grades are in fear to use the toilet facilities of the school. We would like your urgent intervention in this matter before one of the learners gets hurt in the process. Please address this to the principal, and the parents would like to have meetings regarding the problems that they are facing with certain challenges at the school. Looking forward to hearing from you. Kind regards." And then the parent's name is hidden. This is an email that was allegedly sent to the secretary of the school that was supposed to be forwarded to the principal, and no response was given. And unfortunately, like this parent predicted, something really terrible did end up happening in the toilets, allegedly. And Brian's life would be taken from him. A week after the incident occurred, Brian Tetanda Ndlovu's life was honored mourned and celebrated by his family and friends, and was later laid to rest. At the time that I'm recording this video, no suspects have been identified, and there's really nothing that is happening with the case. It is at a standstill. Brian's family is seeking for answers, and they just want some sort of closure.
He used to tell me, Mama, I want to be the next Siya Kolisi. Mama, I want to take care of you because of my rugby that I'm doing at school. But all that now is shattered. All because of evil kids, undisciplined kids. So all I'm asking for is please put those kids where they belong, in the rightful place, which I feel prison is the rightful place for them.
And with that, we have come to the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment down below and let me know what you guys think about this case. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Please stay safe out there.